Welcome back, everybody, to We Are TPM with myself, Kyle Teixeira. Sitting next to me, as always, is John Teixeira. This week, we are here to do a Q&A session, questions and answers from myself and John, questions that we have collected together from the brains of our staff, questions that have been asked, questions that want to be answered, and here to ask them for us and pull from this hat/bowl that we have here full of these questions is our man behind the mics, Steve Cosio, who we talk about all the time, but he's going to join us this time so you can hear his radio show voice. Beats us every day, huh?
I tell you what.
There's a sexy voice. Hey, so we didn't we let our staff put these questions together. They were kind of questions that we get on social media, common questions that we hear when we're on the telephone. Some of them might be a little bit more obscure. I'm kind of scared to find out what.
Yeah, we don't know what these are
because we don't know what they are. We let them just kind of build this random bowl of questions.
So we're just going to run through it.
Hopefully there's nothing inappropriate in there for right? Like That's all right. Steve is going to have to ask the question. So if there's anything inappropriate, he's the one that's going to feel awkward.
I love it.
Yeah, but I've also got the ability to put in the beeps or the bleeps if they're inappropriate questions.
All right.
So if you got any questions in addition to these, or want to talk to us or add questions to our next Q&A session, give us a call, 817-818-9039. Shoot us an email at showmethemoney@wearetpm.com. Now let's get into it. What's question one, Steve?
All right, so John and Kyle, you brought a bowl, and the bowl has several questions. So the first question is...
I'm so glad we asked Steve to use his radio voice. This is great.
It's like a game show.
How long have you been in real estate?
Oh my gosh, we're starting with the easy ones.
Yeah, that one's easy. I'll let you go ahead.
Goodness gracious. Since 2006, practicing real estate as a licensed agent. I practiced a little bit before that as an investor and was in the mortgage industry for 4 years before that.
And I've been doing this with him in multiple different ways and ventures and avenues since 2014, 2013, somewhere around there. So do the math on that. 10 years, I think.
All right. Love it.
Easy peasy. What's our next one?
You've learned a lot in that short period of time, too, by the way.
Our next question.
Man, we got the easiest one in the bowl. That's got to be the easiest one there.
Good starter, too.
Wow.
These are random, I believe.
Okay. John and Kyle, how can the average person invest in real estate?
Wow.
Give me a general one. Well, do it. The average person should just do it. Well,
We've talked a lot about this on our podcast. I mean, this is an easy one. How did you do it, Kyle? The way you did it is probably the best answer.
Buy the home. You buy your first home first. Buy the home you live in first. That's the best answer because it's the only answer that gets you an investment benefit and a life benefit. Well, monetary.
Okay,
financial.
but let's expand on it though. Let's take the next step. So how does somebody get into having an investment property that they don't live in?
Step one, save up a down payment. Be smart. Learn about programs that may help you avoid a down payment. Get pre-qualified.
Well, what I was fishing for there was, and the way you did it was by buying your second home and keeping your first home, right? So most of us have the ability to buy a primary residence for a lot less money down. So like you did, you moved across town from one neighborhood to another as your family was growing. And so in doing that, you got to get a mortgage on a primary residence and keep your old residence as a rental. And that's how you became...
Which is how you describe...
an investor.
You're basically using...
And that's how
primary
most
residence mortgage on the second one is what you're saying. So
I think the answer to that question, that's the easiest answer to that question is the average. I think most investors get into investment that way.
Well, it said average person invests in real estate. So my answer to that is figure out a way to buy the home you live in as soon as possible, regardless of market and financial conditions.
There you go. Love it. That might be the answer to a future question. All right, Steve, I think we're ready for another one.
John and Kyle, what's your favorite part of real estate?
Well, I know my answer is investing. Well, that's general, right? It's a good question. I'd say how unique every deal is. The variety of homes and factors that go into being successful in real estate and the different avenues. You know, people talk about real estate as one thing. It's so many different things.
It is.
Yeah. So I'd say the variety, wealth building opportunities, and
So I feel like I'm going to answer this two different ways. I'm going to answer it the way you answered it because I think you took a really general approach from a philosophical standpoint of what is your favorite part of investing, kind of in a philosophical way. And I think I would agree with you that my favorite part of real estate is investing, right? Or helping people invest or whatever, anything that has to do with investing in real estate, okay? But I'm looking at this I'm looking at that question from a little bit different, drill down a little bit more. I was thinking about it more specifically, like, what are the moments, what are the pieces of the process that I enjoy the most? And this is a perspective you may not have because I've been blessed to do this so many times. And it's sitting at the closing table with a family that's buying their first home, right? There's nothing, maybe not even their first home, but there's nothing more special than sitting at a closing table with a family that's really excited about what they're doing and their coming days, weeks, and years, and they're envisioning what it's going to look like. And you could just tell that this is a really rewarding experience and you're getting to share in it. It's one of the most rewarding experiences in people's life behind, a great job opportunity, childbirth, marriage. There's not that many really pivotal moments in your life that are extremely memorable. And I feel like this is one of them and I get to be there for it.
all right, service at the closing. I'm going to go with residual income.
All right.
Final answer.
I love it. Final answer. All
Final
right.
answer. Passive and residual income.
Passive income. I like it.
Making
I like
money
your
while
answer.
you're doing nothing.
I like your answer. I like it. All right, Steve.
John and Kyle, how old were you when you bought your first property?
Ooh, I mean, I was 20 years old. And I was,
Me too.
20 in like a couple days. I almost did it as a teenager, but
Me too. I want to give my age away, but yes, I was 20 years old. I'll give my age away. I don't give a crap. I was 1990.
Easy money.
1990, bought at FHA, 7.75%, which also happens to be the historical average.
Not the question. What's the next question, Steve?
Kaufman and Broad home.
He couldn't give a simple answer to a simple question, could he?
John and Kyle, what's your favorite restaurant at the moment?
Ooh, we could.
That's too general.
I'm going to answer for both of us here. If you were to you had to find a place where we'd both answer, it's going to be Henry's Cigar Lounge.
All right. You know what? I
It's
didn't
right
even
next
think
to
of
our
that.
office.
Okay. All right. That's a
Counts
good
as a
answer.
restaurant.
That's a good answer. I'm gonna give you a different answer though, because there's one that has been my favorite lately. And I love it. And I can't wait to get back to it. It's a little place here in Mansfield, and it's called Kaya, little sushi place. And I absolutely love this place. And I've eaten there 2-3 times a week at times, and I can't get enough of it. I love it. The best sushi, some of the best sushi I've had. People keep telling me to go to other places, so I try other places to see if I can fall in love as much, and I can't. This place is great.
I'm going to stick to Mansfield because I could go all over the place if you talk all DFW. In Mansfield, it's probably 54th Street just because it's the easiest place to get everyone to agree to go because
they
they
have a wide
serve
variety.
absolutely everything. You can't tell
Good
me
food.
you want burgers or you want anything you want.
Anything
All right,
you
well, they
want.
have it. Let's
Steak.
just go there.
You got steak, chicken fried
It's
steak. They got
the-
Italian,
It's the greatest compromise of all time.
pizza.
And they
got it
have
all.
like 100 beers on draft, so you can't even tell me that's the reason.
Yeah.
Like, you got nothing. You got,
Never had a bad meal there and a great environment. Yep, good call. You know what that place reminds me of? BJ's. Yep.
It's kind of like that.
Yep.
No Pazuki.
All right, Steve.
You ready for the next one?
Yes, sir.
John and Kyle, what does it take to list a property?
Oh, this is...
I'll let you take that whole question.
What does it take to list? I'm trying to get the sense of what the question is really about. What does it take to list a property? Like preparation wise, you want to make sure your condition. I always say you want to be the pretty girl on the block, right? So make sure your condition is as impeccable as you could possibly afford to make it. All right. But what does it take for a real estate agent to list it? It takes marketing expertise, professional photography, knowing where to list your property and how to syndicate it. Clearly getting it on the MLS, that's the easy part, right? All the agents do that part. Open houses. There's so many things. There's a list on our marketing thing that I'm trying to go through my list right now.
Reputation. Whole bunch of stuff. Because this is a huge answer when, the simplest answer is for anyone to list a property. I mean, you could go Snap, Zillow, Post.
Yep.
I mean, that gets it done, but it won't get you.
It won't get you the highest price and the
won't
most
get you all the things
exposure.
you want.
So what does it take? It takes really good marketing. It takes expertise. It takes follow through, expertise in negotiation. And being able to anticipate through the process, when you've done this 420 times, right, then it's easier to anticipate what's going to happen before it happens.
You just threw 420 out there on 420.
Ooh,
I picked up on that too.
You guys are
stuck
so
in your head
smart.
or something. So.
You guys are so smart.
It's the day we're recording, by the way, so you know.
Yeah, clearly.
That's why we did a Q&A.
Clearly, we're doing Q&A on 420.
All right.
We're not going to smoke
Expertise
anything after
and
this, are we?
experience is the simple part of that answer. What we got next, Steve?
The next question for John and Kyle. Tell me about your out-of-state property management. What is the process like?
Oh, Kyle loves this question. Don't you, Kyle?
What is the process like? Well, it's unique. That's what it is. Just give it a one-word answer. It's unique. But it's building systems. You know, we live in the day and age of technology. So the great thing is, probably 60% of our systems can be executed from anywhere. So building out the 40 we have here, boots on the ground, is really what our systems are out of state.
Boots on the ground.
Getting trustworthy boots on the ground somewhere else that we can trust and put our name on, and executing to the same level of service and standard as we would here. That's
what it comes down to. When we are in these other markets that we're in, it's because we have confidence in our boots on the ground, and we can do that anywhere. We could build that. We can find boots on the ground and find boots on the ground that we have confidence in. We don't necessarily want to, right? Otherwise, we would be in about 12 different markets. If we accepted everything that people threw at us, we'd be all over the place.
You can't make fear-based decisions out of state either.
Yeah,
so.
Well, that's true. But good answer, Kyle. Boots on the ground is the short answer to that question. Have really good boots on the ground, and then we use our systems. All right, Steve, I think we're ready. We got through that question.
Just being around you guys, I know the answer to this question.
All right, do you want to answer it too?
Yeah, it's only one word.
Okay.
John and Kyle, when should I start investing in real estate?
In 2 years.
Yesterday.
Boom.
Tomorrow. 2 years. April 20th of 2024, maybe.
Let's bring it back to the analogy.
I'm just being sarcastic.
If you want a tree in your yard, how do you do it?
You better plant it now.
You better plant it now so it can grow. Right? Now, yesterday.
But isn't it better to
ASAP.
plant trees in the spring,
Immediately.
Kyle?
No.
Not trees of wealth, huh? Trees of wealth can be planted in any season, can't they?
Yes. Go plant that under some snow. It may be cheaper during that time.
But what if I can't find fertilizer?
Well, then you're just going to have to ask Steve what the next question is.
The next question to John and Kyle. What's your collection process like?
Pay your rent.
This is going to go badly, I can tell.
It's much like The Sopranos. Yeah.
That's a great answer. I love it. We do have Guido on our staff, don't we?
Yeah. I even got it. Well, it is a very cumbersome collection process.
So you know what? I don't necessarily think that the point of this question was really to give away every detail of our collection process. I think the point here is to demonstrate that we do have a very systematic approach to the way we do collections. And basically what it is a step-by-step approach that starts on the first of the month and goes all the way to evicting you from your home. Mm-hmm. And in that process, we try and give as many opportunities. We be empathetic and human, and we give all the opportunities we can for people to get caught up and to be able to stay in the home. Because our goal is not to get to the end. Our goal for everybody is to not have to get to the end of that eviction process. However, we have to continue toward it for the sake of our homeowners not being stuck with
I think we're differentiate is still executing the systematic notice and eviction process that has timelines, notice requirements, and all those things in at the same time as you're working with the tenant to get caught up in all that stuff, because that's where a lot of people fail, is they don't do both at the same time. The tenant understands why you have to do both, but you're protecting your homeowner just the same by executing it on the proper timeline.
Well, look, you know what? We should do a podcast on this, because this is a good topic right here.
We may again.
One thing that comes to mind is that we basically can get somebody out in 21 to 24 days, right? If we need to. So if I'm an investor, one of the things investors worry about the most, we've done a podcast on the biggest worries, right? People worry about not getting paid and getting stuck with, having to pay for a home that they're not getting rent on. Well, if I can get somebody out in 21 days from, and get them out before the end of the month, I can literally market it and get somebody in for that following month, and the most you're out is a month, right? Doesn't that reduce the level of anxiety that an investor would have about renting if they knew that?
Yeah, and you can work with tenants within that same timeline. You're paying, if you want an extra 30 days, then you're going to pay a proportional amount to where our timeline doesn't extend anymore. I think it's all
we make deals with people, but it has to be deals that make sense.
Well, knowing the timelines, because it was in that eviction process, there's all these different timelines. Even after those 21 days, there's things that you cannot do right and have to start completely over. We watch inexperience in court and otherwise all the time. That those are big effects. You wait 31, say you wait 30 days to get your court date, and you just did it wrong. So now you got to execute this notice process that itself takes, a week, 2 weeks before you even file again, and then wait another 30 days for eviction. So, inexperience can cost you a month or two.
Yep.
Next.
John and Kyle, what's your favorite thing about Mansfield?
Podcast Mansfield.
What a great suck up answer.
That was the best suck up answer I could give, right? Second favorite is about Mansfield, recorded by and at Podcast Mansfield, right?
That's right.
God, why are you sucking up to Steve?
I gave him a plug too.
Why are you sucking up to Steve right now? I don't. It was a great question. What is my favorite part? You know what? Community. I really, really have enjoyed over the past 17 years being a part of this community in every aspect. Living here, working here, playing here, going to church here, eating here, all of it. Now, it's been to varying degrees, and some things are getting worse, some things are getting better, like every community. But I think that's the short answer for me is community.
Pretty much give the same answer. I mean, I don't live here anymore. I just work here.
No, stick with your answer. It's Podcast Mansfield.
Podcast Mansfield.
Goodness
gracious. I'd say the growth I've seen from Mansfield, but also the parts they've decided to keep the same, like downtown and stuff like that. So the uniqueness of Mansfield, for sure.
Yep, definitely. How many of these questions are we going to do, Kyle?
There are only a few left.
Oh, we're going to do them all?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
John and Kyle, What made you join real estate?
Join real estate.
That's what it said.
Well, why don't I answer first? Because then
Go ahead.
that'll help you follow up with your answer. So I joined real estate, as I alluded to in an earlier question, when I had a nationwide notary service. And if you don't know what that is, if you've ever done a refinance and had somebody come out to your home and sign loan docs, I was a guy that would send that notary and coordinate getting that notary to your home. So it was a nationwide service that I had. And I would say that's what got me, two things got me interested in real estate. One, doing that actually I did it for almost 6 years. Two, I did a lot of work for real estate agents as a contractor. So I was in and around the environment a lot. And then getting into investing was kind of the final straw, as I was helping people invest in Texas, and I was doing some wholesale work with investors, and that was kind of the straw that was like, you know what, I need to go get licensing. This needs to be my career. And that's it. That's how I got into it. Was that the question, how we got into it?
What made you join real
What
estate?
made me join real estate? It's a strange way to ask the question. What got you into this, Kyle?
Well,
What made you join real estate?
You were doing
like it's a
it,
club
and you
or
were my
something.
father, so I started initially just helping you, and then got, I guess, property management is what sucked me in, because just building a business around it is what got me excited, and that's what we did. So, and the investing part is what the long term, I wanted to do. I've always wanted to be an investor, and real estate is, as we have said, the best way to build wealth in existence and in history, right? So don't change what isn't broken, I guess. I could give a lot more answers, but that's the succinct way to do it.
I love it. That was succinct, but I love your answer, because that is the most honest. Steve, we're ready for you.
Ready for the next question. I'm not sure I want to know the answer to this one, but John and Kyle, what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
I go get coffee. Usually, sometimes.
I check my phone for not the reasons 99% of other people check their phone. I make sure I check my text messages for work-related reasons and ignore everything else.
Because you have guests all over the country that might
At all
have had a
different
fire
times
in the middle of the
periods,
evening.
and make sure I didn't have a guest wondering why I wasn't answering them at 3 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, I check my 2 apps that cannot wait until after I get ready for the day, and ignore the other 100 million notifications.
That's a strange question. Our staff put that in there. Why do you think our staff wants to know?
Maybe they wanted to
know.
know.
Like, is it really specific? Like, they want to know if I got coffee before I peed, or what do you think?
I don't know.
You think they want those details, or do you think maybe they're hoping that we would say something like, we get up, we pray, we meditate, we read 12 pages of our book, like, right? Like that's what they're hoping. We'll say something really motivational like that, huh? Because we should be doing that probably instead.
Or maybe
of what
they're
we
like,
actually do.
you wake up and instantly think of all the things we wanted them to do and shoot them a text message. They're like, is this really what you do the second you wake up? Do this thing.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right, Steve. How many more we got, Steve?
4 more.
All right.
John and Kyle, what brought your family to DFW?
Well, the answer for Kyle is easy.
Yeah, I was dragged, screaming and crying. No, I'm just kidding. I'll let him answer this. Since he did the dragging.
Actually, he says dragged, and it was funny though, because my mom lived here is the short answer. So if we expand on that answer a little bit, we came here to visit. We enjoyed it. I was already looking at the area to invest in, because it was a prime spot in the entire country to invest in. And so I started doing that. And I started trying to help other people invest here. And in doing so, decided that we wanted to live here. And it was a good time to do that, since my business at the time was a business that I can do from anywhere. That's a short answer. But to go back to your dragging, kicking, and screaming, the kids also had an impact on our decision to come here, because when we brought them through a model home, a first Texas model home, big giant Hillcrest or something like that, they absolutely fell in love, because we lived in a little 3-bedroom, 1,100 square foot home. Kyle, you at the time were sharing a bedroom with your little brother.
Oh yeah.
And your bedroom was about 15 feet from my bedroom, and your older brother's was in between it. So that's how small it was. And so when you guys walked in that big, huge house, you were all in.
And saw a room the size of our living room that
You were
could have
all
been
in.
mine.
Like,
so,
this is just my bedroom.
And I had
go.
just traveled there on a plane, so I had no relevance to, where this place was, so you could have been circling the sky for 3 hours of it,
How old were you?
I was 10 years old
10 years
when
old.
we moved here, so dragged or whatever, I didn't really have a choice.
You're welcome.
So, yeah.
Good question.
John and Kyle, what's your current hobby?
Ooh, easy.
Golf. Next question.
Golf shirts rocking in the podcast. But yeah, golf.
John and Kyle, why Mansfield?
What?
Why Mansfield?
Like, why did we initially choose Mansfield, do you think? Steve,
it's
come
not
up with a
that
better
specific.
question.
No,
That's a
it's
horrible
just why
question.
Mansfield?
Why Mansfield? Okay, let's
It's
answer
open
it the
to
way we want to.
interpretation,
Okay,
right?
all right, that's fine.
Is that the last one too?
I have one more.
Oh, okay.
Why
I was about to
Mansfield?
say,
Like,
that'd be quite the.
all right, I'm gonna take this question from a standpoint of somebody else asking me why Mansfield, and I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna incorporate some of our previous questions: community, values, stability and economy, school district, reputation, all of those things. We are set up here in Mansfield for a long, stable future.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'd answer it in a weird way. Like, it's arguably one of the most unique suburb areas I've ever seen. I mean, if you know the area, just a description. I mean, Fort Worth. It's just it's directly south of Arlington, which nobody talks about Arlington, but it's literally on the list of top 50 biggest cities in the country, right? So you have Arlington that splits Dallas and Fort Worth. So you got 3 major cities in this country, state, all that, literally bordering each other, and then directly south of them is Mansfield, the suburbs of Mansfield.
And we're 30 minutes from Fort Worth, 35 minutes from downtown Dallas, and 20 minutes shot up into central Arlington by the ballparks. And
But then on the southern border of Mansfield, you can feel like you're in the Texas country,
you're in
right?
country.
So
you're like, where are we right now?
Yeah.
Are we in like, what state are we in?
So we used to say about California, you could go surfing, snowboarding, and mountain biking in the same day, right? No, I wasn't. Those are sports things that you care about. But I guess in Mansfield, you could go to the Ranger Stadium and hunting in the lake in the same day, right?
You did try.
I tried. It didn't
You did
work.
try.
But
I'm not going to try to compare Mansfield to California, but whatever.
I wish there was somewhere to go snowboarding.
I'm glad I'm here and not there.
But yeah, we need to make some mountains. Other than that, we'll be fine. All right, Steve,
I hold the last question.
The last question.
the
Here we
last
go.
question.
Let's do it. It better be
All
a good
right.
one.
Kyle and John, what makes you happy?
Wow. You know what? He started with the best question to start with and ended with the best question to end with. Did you? You didn't even, that was all random
It was
too.
all random.
I wanted to give
Wow.
the worst answer ever here, but we're being recorded.
Yeah, let's stay
We could just-
appropriate, Kyle. Stay
golf.
appropriate.
Just still the same answer, golf. No, I'm just kidding. My wife, my family, and golf. Boom.
I think the answer for me would be seeing the success of my family, the growth of my family, and seeing everybody else happy and content and enjoying each other. That makes me happy. So the part of that is business. Part of that is what we do together as a family and how we operate together as a family. Whether everybody likes each other or not, all of those things play into that, I think. How's that answer? You like that, Steve?
I liked it. But we're out of questions.
We're out of questions?
Yep.
All right, Kyle. Let's wrap this Q&A up. I hope it was interesting to people, anybody who cares. But
Steve, do you have any questions that you can drum up in your brain?
Oh, there we go. Random question by Steve.
Random question by Steve, thrown in without a heads up.
No,
we need a Chat GPT question.
I need a suggestion for a date night for Friday night.
Ooh, that's a good one.
How about is your wife scared of heights?
No.
There is the that dinner that you do. What is that thing called? You do it up on the top of the
ball?
Reunion Tower?
No, it's not on the Reunion Tower. You actually do it on it's on a tower. It's on a crane that they take you up and you do dinner up there. And it's kind of like being on one of those rides, but you sit up there and you got a table and you got a bartender and a chef and everything in front of you, and you're up like hundreds of feet up in the air and just doing dinner. Your feet are dangling down and it's weird.
That's here in the Metroplex?
It's just, dinner in the sky, I think is what it's called. They have it in most major cities. They also have it in Dallas.
I'll give you a unique answer here, Steve. Maybe unique. One of the coolest date night things, ironically, that I have done and still sometimes do is there's this thing called an adventure book that I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it is unique. You basically don't know what your date is until you are ready to go and you scratch it off and it tells you what to do. It basically gives you some picture hints of like what it may involve eating, that you need a babysitter and you need at least $50. That's about as much information as you get. Oh, and you might need to get in the car, not get in the car, that kind of thing. But, going on an adventure in the, the mystery part of it makes it fun.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
And isn't as expensive as John's suggestion.
And being open, I like it because it forces you to be open to anything. It's kind of like playing truth or dare, right?
Yep.
But I think it's safer.
Probably.
What your friends would do to you.
We've done one as unique as baking baking cookies blindfolded, and the one person had to tell you what to do, and the
oh really?
Yeah. So I was blindfolded and couldn't see if I was, throwing eggs into a batter of pizza or if I was actually making cookies. I had no idea.
I'm trying to decide if I wanted a cookie made by you blindfolded, given instruction by your wife, or the other way around. I'm pretty sure.
I probably would have messed with her more if she was the blindfolded one. Those cookies might have ended up
true.
with
They might have had like parsley or something in them, huh?
Yeah, like instead of baking soda, you get, you don't use baking soda for actual baking, but, put baby powder in there or something. So yeah.
Yeah, but all you got to do is say, get the baking powder, and she already knows where it is. She could probably get it.
That is so true. Actually, that was why I suggested me be blindfolded. Because I'm like, this isn't fair. You could travel this kitchen blindfolded, and
that's funny.
It's like someone sent me a video yesterday that was like, your wife is you use your wife as a memory notepad sometimes. Like, why do I need to remember where all the stuff is in the kitchen? You know exactly where it is. So,
yep.
Save my brain power.
Close us out. Are we doing a Chat GPT question, or are we closing out? No?
It's up to you.
Steve Cosio, thank you very much. And you here at Podcast Mansfield for presenting our questions and being involved in our podcast today. We wish we had radio voices like you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If everybody wants to add more questions, throw in questions that may be asked at our next Q&A session, give us a call, 817-818-9039. Shoot us an email at showmethemoney@weartpm.com. And thanks for tuning in.
We out.